Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pluto Talks, the podcast. I'm your host, Pluto. And if you are watching the visuals, you might recognize my face from both of my YouTube channels at Naya Moore. That channel is curated for a lot of people who like lifestyle content, vlogs, and beauty content like that. And if you are familiar with this channel, which is Pluto Talks, this is where I do a lot of TV show and movie commentary. I do story times, and now I'm finally starting my podcast. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let's get right into this episode because I have no time to waste. So, first and foremost, I'm gonna be completely transparent. I was not gonna do this. This is way out of my comfort zone, and I know what y'all thinking. You do YouTube content. How is this outside of your comfort zone? How are you not comfortable with doing a podcast? And my answer to you is this has been sitting with me for over a year, and that's the theme of this episode. Do things scared. Like, I'm genuinely very nervous about how people may take this podcast. I don't really have like a certain theme of where I want to go with this podcast because I'm multifaceted. I am interested in so many different topics, so many different outlets, so many different career paths that I wouldn't even feel comfortable limiting myself to just talking about spirituality or just talking about lifestyle or just talking about beauty or just talking about whatever. Like, I literally just feel like I have so many interests, so many things. But the main thing that held me back was the fear of perception. On my main channel, I can vlog, I can cut out things, I can edit things out. And don't get me wrong, I'm still being myself, I'm still being true to who I am, but it's a little less intimate. Like, this feels intimate. I'm sitting here and I'm talking to my camera, talking to an audience. Hopefully, you guys are listening. But I literally have never felt like super comfortable when it comes to like really sitting down and talking about things that I may find interesting and things like that. And honestly, I would make a lot of excuses for myself, with me trying to create this podcast for over a year now. I literally wanted the best camera quality, the best sound quality, the best freaking team. I wanted like a whole production. I was even considering like, going to a studio instead of having it in my home. And what I'm saying, like me filming there and me curating the content for that or whatever. But honestly and truthfully, we all don't start at the tip top. And I think that me doing that was me creating excuses for myself to be like, well, I don't have the production, I don't have the tip top camera quality, I don't have this, I don't have that. So I just kept pushing it back, pushing it back, pushing it back. But I think that's because there's a big difference between really wanting to do something and really willing to be seen doing that something. Like, let's take it all the way back to when we were children, okay? When we were kids and we rode our bikes and it was finally time to get those training wheels taken off our bikes, that was a very scary experience. I would presume for you guys, it was very scary for me because those training wheels had that stability. It had that extra like help that you needed on the side, if that pretty much makes sense. And in terms of content, you try to stay with what's comfortable with you. In my case, vlogging, that was like something that seemed to be pretty comfortable for me to do because I could pick up the camera whenever I wanted to and show what I wanted to show instead of it being kind of more raw. I mean, of course, I'm going to edit this and cut it down, maybe, make it fit for what it fits for. But with vlogging, you can pretty much make it what you want. It's kind of like reality TV. Like, you clip things up, you cut things up to make a story of what you want to be perceived as. Same thing with the training wheels. Like, that's that extra support that you have that you feel comfortable with. And, of course, you're going to have times where you're going to fall off, or it's going to be wobbly, and it's going to be nerve wracking. And it's just, you have to still fight through it. And that's how you're able to now ride a bike without the training wheels. And that's because once you start, is no longer hiding behind the idea of doing it, because you're doing it. People can have their opinions. They can love it, they can hate it, they can support you, they can try to tear you down. But what's really important is what you think of yourself. And I think that that's very important in today's society, because like I said, we're just going to take it all the way back when we were younger. Like, when we were younger, we didn't have, well, I know personally, and I've heard other people say this as well. When you're younger, you don't think about the perception of what this person thinks of you or what that person thinks of you. I didn't start having body image issues with myself until I reached like middle school. I think that was like the threshold of like where people were starting to pay more attention to that type of thing, and like talk more about those types of things and things like that. But when I was younger, I didn't even care. Like, I had no perception of what my body looked like compared to others, or whether or not I was the right weight, or if whatever. You know what I'm saying? My appearance didn't matter as much. I mean, of course, my mother didn't have me looking out crazy, but I mean, in terms of like body image, like, and I think that that's the innocence of what it is to be a child. Like, the cruelty of the world will really warp your brain to feel like everything that you do, especially when it comes to putting yourself out there, will make you be judged. And honestly and truthfully, you're going to be judged. You are. And I'm still currently getting over that. Like, me starting this podcast, I think that it's really shaping that mindset for me to be like, you know what, Destiny, you, no matter what, you will be judged. Like, that's inevitable. Everybody has a right to judge whoever they want to judge, however they want to judge them. But it's up to you, an internal person, to realize that, okay, like, they're gonna judge, they're gonna think whatever they think. But like I said, it's up to you to decide whether or not you're gonna allow those judgments to shape how you move. And I think for me, it was less of being judged for the podcast and more so of, will people relate to me? Will I actually build an audience? Will people want to hear what I have to say? Like I said, with vlogging, it's a little more interactive. You can do a little bit more. Podcasting, people are probably working out, listening to you, or walking around, listening to you in their headphones. Or like I said, if you guys are watching the visuals, hey, um, they're watching you. And the biggest fear for me is attention span. Like, will I be able to grasp the attention span of the audience and be able to, you know, hold that attention span from the audience? But like I said, I think that the thing that we tend to forget a lot is everything that we've ever done for the first time is scary. Like I gave you an example before, riding your bike for the first time without the training wheels, that's scary. Swimming for the first time, that's scary. Driving for the first time, scary. What else? I don't know, like performing in front of a crowd for the first time, scary. Anything that you ever indulge in this lifetime for the first time will always be scary for you. But it's up to you to take those nerves and turn it into excitement, or sit in those nerves and allow it to take over you. Just like starting a new job, going to college for the first time, making new friends. Like, those things are scary. I know for me, I don't really have much of like social anxiety. or anything like that, but it still kind of brings me a little bit of fear to like take the initiative and walk up to somebody and be like, "Oh, like your hair is nice," or something like that. Like, of course, now that I've built a lot more confidence within, it is easier for me to just like walk up to a person and be like, "Oh, I like your shoes, I like your hair." That could be a start of a conversation. But everything new is uncomfortable, and the theme of that is being comfortable with the uncomfortable. You have to be comfortable, and I know that's cliche, everybody says it, but it is a very true statement. You have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable because that is life. Life is full of uncomfortable experiences. Like I said, starting a new job, making new friends, going off to college for the first time. Especially for me, when I started college, I was a first gen. So my mother, my father, they didn't have like the tools and the advice to give to me in order for me to feel a little more comfortable. Like I literally got my tips from YouTube. I got my tips from, you know, other people that I knew in my life that went to college or was currently going to college, but it's never going to hit you unless you're in that position. And like I said, little me didn't care. Like when I was in elementary school, I remember this. I was in elementary school. I was probably in fifth grade, maybe even a lower grade than that. That was my first YouTube video, guys. My very first YouTube video, it was something very like simple, the worst freaking um quality. Like I had my LG phone. I set it up, mind you, I had no type of setup. I was sitting outside of my freaking school building and I filmed a what's in my backpack. And you know what? I had the utmost confidence. I ended up uploading that, no edits, no intro, no outro, no nothing. That was my very first. You can't look it up now because I deleted it from everything. But that was my very first YouTube video. And I was so proud of that YouTube video. But as I got older, like once I was in sixth grade, seventh grade, I was still creating content, but I was always super like, I was always just second guessing myself. Like, because the people in my class, they were so much like, they were so judgy, so self-aware, and so they would be like, "Oh, like Destiny got a YouTube, Destiny, da da da, like look at her, she look crazy, like she just doing this stuff for attention and da da da." And I think that that was like the start of me starting to like be a little more aware. But honestly and truthfully, think about your favorite content creator, your favorite YouTuber, your favorite, I don't know, TikTok creator, whatever the case is. If you go to their very first video, I guarantee you the video probably sucks. The quality is probably ass, the sound quality is probably trash, and the concept is probably all over the place. But that's the beauty of it. Like, and I really find beauty in hard work and committing yourself to something like YouTube. Like I said, my very first video was trash. I didn't have much knowledge on editing. I didn't have much knowledge on how to really structure a video. I just didn't have knowledge at all on how to really put out something of quality. And it was a struggle because I then started looking at everybody else and was like, "Oh, da da da." But I actually did my own research. Like one of my favorite YouTubers, I can't really think right now off the top of my head who it was, but I literally scrolled all the way down to the bottom of their page, looked down, and I watched their very first video, and it was not good. Like it was good in terms of like personality. You can see that they had the same personality, things like that, but the sound quality wasn't that great. um the video quality wasn't that great. The lighting probably wasn't that great, things like that. And so that right there is the beauty of what it is to commit to something. Your first try might be not be the best. Your second might not be the best. Even your third, fourth, fifth try might not be the best. But one thing that you can say is at every step you're getting better, because I wasn't the best editor. Like, I'm still not the best editor. I think that I'm still learning things. I'm still growing in that aspect, but I do see myself, doing a lot of great things in editing. But truth be told, I'm not the best editor. But if you look at a video from 2015 versus a video from today, my editing style has significantly changed and it's significantly better. But that came with me being consistent, me being persistent, and me putting in the work in order to do better with that type of content. I say all of that to say that no matter what you want to do, what your dreams are, your aspirations, anything like that, I want you guys to commit to that. I want you guys to work towards that goal. Matter of fact, I got a homework assignment for y'all. We starting from episode 1. I got a homework assignment for y'all. I want for you to get a notebook, piece of paper, even a whiteboard, chalkboard, whatever you had. Even open your notes app on your phone. I want you to write down all of your dreams, all of your goals, your aspirations, things like that. And I want for you to write not only the goals, but how will you achieve those goals? Because for me, with starting this podcast, like I said, like I just kept holding it back because I didn't have the best this, I didn't have the best that, but that was a goal of mine. But I never really sat and thought, like, what can I do to start now? Because I always wanted to start, but I always pushed it back because I'm like, I don't have this, like, it's not going to be that, da da da. So I want for you, and also make them attainable. I don't want it to be like anything like super outlandish. Like, you want to start something realistic, something small, and build your way up. But with goals, you also have to have a plan for that goal. So, like I said, I want for you guys to write down your goals and write down the steps that you want to take in order to achieve that goal. And with that being said, we're going to close this video out with one more thing. I want to start this because I think that it's pretty cool. I'm also into tarot. We're going to get into a lot of topics. Like, I'm into beauty, I'm into lifestyle, I'm into self-help, I'm into spirituality. So if any of those pique your interest, make sure you stay around. Even like TV shows and like movie commentary, like I said, we're going to be doing a lot of content. I'm not playing. I'm not joking, okay? But with that being said, before I close this video out, slash this podcast out, like I said, if you're not watching the video visuals, then this doesn't apply. But I will be pulling one tarot card at the end of each of my episodes, and that will like wrap up the theme of the episode. So we're going to pull a tarot card for the day just to see what we get. All right, guys. So my bad, I did a little shuffling and then I just pulled it from the middle. So I pulled the Queen of Swords. If you're watching, you can see that. My interpretation of the Queen of Swords, before I read the actual meaning behind it, so that I can give you guys my interpretation first. My interpretation of the Queen of Swords is someone who is assertive, and like I said, I didn't say, but I want to make clear the Queen, King, whatever, it doesn't have to tie into feminine or masculine energy. I just want to add that. So if there's a man watching this and I said you're the Queen of Swords, don't be offended. But the Queen of Swords, I see the Queen of Swords as someone who is assertive, hardworking, and perseveres through any adversity that they face. And so this like ties directly into exactly what I was talking about in this episode. Like, do it scared. Do it scared. I'm going to say it one more time. Do it scared. Because 9 times out of 10, everybody around you that's doing it is scared too to start. It'll get easier as time goes by. But I'm going to read the passage so that I can close out so I don't hold you guys up for any longer. So the Queen of Swords, clever, meticulous, intellectual. Brains over beauty. The Queen of Swords values intellect above all else. She has no problem telling it like it is with class and sass. She is direct, witty, honest, and even blunt. Logic rules the land. With the facts being fairest of them all, she is able to use her discernment and see past hidden motives easily. She asks that you cut through noise and gather information that will point you to a clear cut solution. Detach yourself from emotion so that you can use your critical eye with its impartiality and clarity. The Queen of Swords likes to get straight to the point and uses tech to get there. Prefer to connect on the intellectual level. Sensitive souls may receive her bluntness as cold and dub her the Ice Queen. It's not that she doesn't care, she just wants to be fair. So, pretty much similar to what I said, very intellectual, very assertive, puts in the work. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed episode 1. I hope to see you guys on episode 2. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you are on YouTube. And I'm not really familiar with the other streaming sites that I will be putting my podcast on, but I'm pretty sure you can like. So make sure you like. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
You can trust in me. I can. You said I can trust in